familiar with the technology from Wonder Ocean? Was it discussed in the test run?
It was not discussed, no.
It was not discussed, so maybe very briefly, so that you know and can have a thought about it. Pablo has invented a system to self-erect windmills that would allow us much faster to go to higher heights and so to capture more continuous wind at a cheaper cost. That's basically in a nutshell what he has, and he has caught the interest of the German Sprint Innovation Office as a potential disruptive innovation, because it means that we could now also have wind technology on land at much higher efficiencies, and also because he doesn't need so many hard to get cranes. You can build much faster and simultaneously erect a lot more towers. That's in a nutshell his invention, which then opens up towards maybe also synergies with including the regreening or the agrovoltaics and the agroaeolics in the regions where this is done.
That's very good, very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I'm sure.
Last time in our test run, we had no time to really look into Wonder Ocean, actually. But this is good to hear today.
Yes, I think certainly that even after this webinar, certainly I can highly recommend you to have a one-to-one meeting and to go extensively through his presentation, because I'm sure that, you know, with what we all face, speeding up renewables, getting not only the cost of solar is already low, but also getting cost of wind lower and especially fast to market. I think it can really help if we bring you, if you meet up thanks to this webinar. Let's say.
Where are you based, Pablo?
In Spain.
Where?
Albacete. Castilla-La Mancha.
Albacete.
Sí, yeah.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, my sister is living in Lanka.
Yeah. Okay.
It's quite, yeah, it's interesting. Well, so.
I have a very bad connection, so I hope you can all hear me. If it's not the case, let's just put you stand by, Marcus.
Yeah, obviously, of course, no problem. But we hear you super well. I must say, really nice. I think, yeah, you are just sitting in front or behind is your window, so your face is not so visible as mine. And I think with also Pablo, you also have a bit of a light background. I don't know if you can turn a bit or so, then we see you better normally.
Can I change the background somewhere?
Yeah, the thing is that we had a Chromacom software to install this background photo, what Jörg and myself have. So this I cannot show anymore, and we would need to install a new software. But I only heard this morning, just a moment ago. So we will do it for next time, I would say.
Okay.
Sorry for this.
What I noticed that before you get in, you can change the background or to some things. At least I made my background blurry.
Yeah, I'd love to do that, but I don't know how.
You have to go out, and when you sign in, after you sign in, there is a point that you can choose between the backgrounds.
I'm not sure if it's a good idea to try that now while we are live. I think it's probably better from a risk point of view to stay with the current background.
Very quick jump in. By the way, I'm Jörg. For the people who don't know me, I'm chair of the Climate Action Commission, and I will have the pleasure to hand over a little gift at the end of the session. And Marcus, in order to be able to do so, I will be back at 10:15. Is that okay with you?
Yes, we do, as usual. Yeah, great that you're with us today, Jörg. And we hope that we can give you half a minute at the end.
Yeah, I know. Typically, 45 seconds would be preferred, but let's see. So I jump out now. Have a great webinar, and see you then at 10:15.
Wonderful.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
Just joking, you know.
Bye-bye.
Yes, indeed. So, Alexandra.
Yes.
So I make the quick welcome. I would then pass the word to Alessandro. Then I take just a bit back because I would like to present 2-3 points about the Energy Alliance, yeah, so that people know where to find us and find more information. But then I would pass the word to you, and you could detail a bit more on the speakers, and then do the typical flow, if that is fine for you.
Yes, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, super. Okay. Because normally I forgot a few times to speak about us, but I think it's important, especially also to introduce Igor, who has joined this week. And well, unfortunately, I don't know where he's. I invited him as well, but he will come in shortly, I'm sure. Maybe he just needs to familiarize with all the technology here a bit further. If that is not appropriate, well, at least I give a bit of orientation here.
Perfect. Yeah.
Well,
Marcus, you will put my sheets on the screen, right?
Exactly. You see them now. At the moment, you see the one from Barman, and when I go through it, Paul, so there are, I think, 4 from his side. So each of you just say, next slide, Marcus. Yeah, I think it's easiest because sometimes, if there is a problem, technical problem, you really can concentrate on the content when you speak. If you have a problem with connectivity, it can happen, well, for different reasons. Just dial in again. We will just move on. If it's it sometimes may happen, but don't worry. The system is meanwhile pretty robust and stable. The default chance is very, very low. But just in case, just go the typical way again into the webinar here and restart, re-enter, and then it works. Yeah. So don't worry about that.
Okay.
We will do a quick photo. I would suppose that I don't forget this. I would just need to, one moment, I just need to think cool here. So if you could all go a bit closer to the screen, really show your face, that would be excellent. That looks perfect. Thank you so much. And if for you okay, that is also normally what I do, that I would share in the chat a bit of information while then Alexander takes over, so that people have also a bit of side information about us. And if you don't mind, I would share also there your email addresses again, so in case certain points are not covered, that they can also return back to you. So I think that is also a way to mobilize more leads for you, step by step.
Certainly, I have had, I must say, after a few webinars, a very interesting one-to-one meetings and follow-ups. So yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And we will ask for questions, of course. So they also here, the audience will be invited to share their ideas or also their questions inside the chat. If you have time, well, first concentrate on your presentation, of course, but if you have time to look into it afterwards or beforehand, and there is a quick response which you would like to do, please feel free. Yeah, so it's really sort of an interactive thing where, of course, the concentration should be on the speeches and the conversation. But if you can help with some side information, if somebody asks for something, please feel free to do and respond. I just need to go back to Igor. He seems to have a problem. I'm with you in a moment.
Oh.
Igor, hi. Igor, do you hear me? Igor. Igor? Igor, I will write to you, okay?
I think we lost Paul.
It's only the camera for a moment.
Ah. There he is. maybe a last question before we start, Mr. Van Son. Which molecules are you focusing on for export?
I'm not focusing on specific molecules, but it's the energy carrier. We don't care. It will most likely in the beginning be ammonia. But later on, it could be anything.
Okay.
Yeah, we only push the market, and we don't care what the technical solutions are. And you can call me Paul, by the way.
Okay. Is it okay if I name you with your first names?
Yes, of course. And also Thomas. Thomas is a doctor in Germany, but he allows always to call him Thomas.
Yes, yes. The doctor protects me. It protects me in Germany, you know.
Yes.
International surrounding is easier.
Yeah.
I think we lost Bachmann. He's back.
Everybody tries to make me nervous here.
We can hear you, Bachmann. So I think that Bachmann has not the microphone.
Yes, it's true. Bachmann, you need to leave, please, audio and re-enter with microphone. Very good observed, yeah. All the rest is here. It looks stable. I will also suggest that once the others are speaking, that you mute yourself. You can do that when you click on your name. Okay. And we don't have any risk of interferences. But you see that if you click on your name, or it's on the lower part, perhaps also on your side where you can.
Where do you have that?
Let me see. So normally it's the microphone on the lower part. You see, there's a microphone, the loudspeaker, so that mutes you. Or you click on your name. I think there are two options. Works, Pablo worked. Super, thank you. Thomas, can you try also? Just to meet. He's gone for a moment. Bachmann, you really need to leave and come back with the microphone. Now it's 9 o'clock. I will do the countdown. Start then. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Good morning to the webinar on European Tech for Clean Energy in Asia and Africa of the Energy Alliance of the European Technology Chamber. Warm welcome, dear panelists, the EUTech board, dear ladies and gentlemen. I think this is an extremely important topic what we will address today. On the one hand, there is a dimension of course, helping with the transition towards clean energy, but there's also a new geopolitical situation which also will influence the discussion, I suppose, today, where Europe, but also different regions in the world will review their master plans on how to bring in the renewables. We will come to that step by step. My name is Markus Wiemann. I am the Director for Partnership and Institutional Relationships, and I was Director for Energy until end of February. So it's my last webinar I'm holding myself today. But I will give a bit or more information about the work of Energy Alliance in a moment. First of all, as you see, and I hope you all see the agenda which I present here on the website, on the screen, it's fully visible for you. If you don't see it fully, you please go with your mouse on the downward side along your screen. There is one button which looks like like a screen with 3 legs, and I think it says there restore screen, and that makes that agenda at full screen. So here you will see the flow of discussion we will have. And so also you see here our selected experts for today. So there is Bahman Hamedi-Bagi, CEO of Nexus of Energy and Efficiency and Environmental Technologies, Paul von Sun as a keynote speaker, president of DII Desert Energy. We have also Dr. Thomas Isenburg, who is a scientific journalist, and Pablo Gascon from CTO Wonder Ocean. This will form the core part of our panel today. I'm just a bit looking here into, excuse me, because I was waiting also for my colleague Alexandro, who is not with us. I don't know for what reason. My suggestion here would be that I do then the introduction also on UTEC as such, but that would mean that you just give me 1 minute for a moment, and perhaps Alexander, for that time, if I could just ask you quickly perhaps to introduce already the panel a bit more.
Yeah, certainly.
And then we go 1 step back, but just not to lose time here. Sorry for this, Alessandro. There seems to be a problem on this side. Sorry for that. I'm back in a second here.
No, that's fine. Good morning, everybody. The sun is shining. There is a crisis going on, but there is good hope. Because apparently 6 hours of sun and a big part of hundreds by 100 kilometers to harvested energy would be sufficient to feed the world abundantly from clean energy, which is good for health, which is good for geopolitical tensions going down. But where are these regions based? They're basically based in Africa and Asia. And we have with us today a number of experts that really have a view on how we can speed up the introduction of what I would call the movement of green electrons and green molecules around the world, having this emission-free energy. So perhaps it's a good idea if first we zoom into the presentation of the UTEC chamber, and then I go and present the different speakers. How about that, Marcus?
Yeah, super. Let's do it in this flexible way. I was able to upload the generic UTEC presentation for the meantime. So let me take over the role of the Alliance for IoT today. No problem at all. So UTEC as such is an NGO established in Germany, but acting European, but also worldwide. 2015, meanwhile, we have about 2,000 advocates who are basically our members to work in our different alliances and our different ecosystems we have established. And we have another 4,500 people over the last 50 months only who work with us either as a speaker in exhibitions, in different activities, contributing to papers. So a big network to dig deeper into what we try to share here with all of you. According to our vision, technology obliges, we are following 3 main goals, which are to improve the competitiveness of European technologies, but also with European technologies, worldwide industries, and also to support with these clean, resource-efficient and renewable energy as today, and technologies to support the SDG paths, as well as the growth paths to make growth sustainable in an environmental friendly and climate neutral way. As such, we are organized here with, in total, at the moment, 18 active alliances. So what is mentioned here is still as a chapter, commission, and councils. We are now acting with different alliances, meaning that we have some regional coverage. So there are directors who are leading and bringing stakeholders together for market access and know-how sharing when it comes to China, Asia as such, Middle East, Latin America, also Africa, which is another part what I'm covering at this time. And then we have what we call thematical commissions, alliances, to look deeper into how to protect the environment, how to adapt business models to lower the carbon footprint with Climate Action Partnership. There's the Finance Commission to also get closer to investors. There's the Academy. So a lot to find out. And last but not least, but perhaps even more importantly, because this is our main mission, to look into technologies which help everyone to advance a bit further. So it's about advanced manufacturing, using IoT, using digital transformation, using also different parts of society through women in tech, and of course with energy. So there are a lot of different ways on how we look into and try to mirror future developments. And so to bring the stakeholders here together to define, first of all, new topics which are relevant for the future past, but also to work together through us and with us. So as such, we have what we would call our value position. So on the one hand, what you see under publications, top left, these are knowledge products. So we are creating publications, white papers, position papers. We also have an active Visions for Europe magazine. I will share a bit of more information as new links, just establish new websites in the chat in a moment when we move on. And we, of course, we have these daily events from all the alliances to learn more about what is discussed on the forefront of technology developments. We have presence meeting once, of course, there will be COVID-19 will be ended or will have ended. And we have very different UTech programs to support our advocates, so our members and partners, to work with us to support them in their business growth in the different fields, as just said. So we help them with visibility through social media programs. There is a program to help them to optimize and to become more competitive with digital transformation. We have our Expo Center, we have a trade fair. We bring, as said, investors closer to our advocates through the investment forum. We help with advancing business models to link them better to the SDGs, where we created some awards last year, etc., etc. So a lot to find out. If you have questions to this and find orientation, please come back to me. I will also share my email address later in the chat. As such, yeah, as said, when COVID was not there, we had these very nice high-level events, 4 events per year, once a quarter. It will come back. Most importantly is that we all meet in our European style and self-programmed virtual center, where there is the conference center, the expo center, and there is also our library with all the recordings, with all the PPTs, with all the speaker database of all the previous events throughout the last 16 months. As such, we are also helping companies from Europe to land in other regions with our landing center. At the moment, there's still only one active center in China, where with the help of a local office, companies can apply to get free space, but also have a local advisor to help with permitting, licensing. So basically dealing with the local authorities in the most efficient way to get up and started in a very quick manner. More plans are, of course, to explore that in Middle East. We are in advanced talks here, as well as when we look into Africa, we are selecting or trying to identify a good country to go to, as well as in Latin America, we are looking into Mexico, for example, these days. Yeah, now we come to our UTech poll. Quickly, one quick request to all of you. As we are an NGO, mentioned earlier, of course, we also are, we need to be disciplined with our budget, and we also need to see on where to allocate it best. So it will be great, and I hope you all see now the questions popping up, how to become climate neutral, free space in the UTech Center, or how to use the digital transformation support from our side. What is most important for you that will help us to better direct our orientation. There's much more to be explored, I'm very sure, but this should be a nice point for us as a bit of feedback. Please answer this, it helps us a lot. Thank you so much. Of course, there's also the chance to look into our communications, the different websites. I will come to that also in a moment. But there's also a lot of social media postings to find out what we do in the different alliances. Let me elaborate that in a second on the Energy Alliance. Okay, that's the overview of UTech, and please just let me go back to the other presentation, which is here. So I take over one more time, and then Alexander, it's up to you. But this is important because we are speaking about the Energy Alliance, and it was together with the Africa Alliance, the first one which we installed inside UTech, meaning that out of the 16 or 18 active sections, we have created these alliances to bring public sector, private sector, plus academia research together. In this case, to help with the global energy transition, first of all. So if you, I will share the links later. Oops, that was too fast. Excuse me. So if you want to have there look to have a bit of orientation of what we do, please take the time. I would like to say also here, of course, it's our mission to bring through all the different instruments shown earlier, stakeholders together. There is our new colleague, Igor Gladkov, who will take over this role for the Energy Alliance as beginning of March. so he will be your contact point. Just want to show his face here. And also want to say we have an established LinkedIn group. That LinkedIn group is now much bigger, meanwhile 1,100 members. So from weekly basis, about 50 new companies coming in to join, to share, and also to see what we are doing. Yeah, with this, I would like to pass the word back to Alexander. Thank you all for joining again. Thank you all for participating in this very, very interesting topic of these days, I believe. And Alexander, if you would like to take over again, I just go back one time to the agenda, and then I step forward together with you, okay?
Excellent. Thank you very much, Marcus. Yeah, a warm invite to all the people that are here for the first time to go and explore what the Energy Alliance is doing. But let's today focus on our agenda first. We will have first a short introduction by Mr. Bachman Hamed Rajabi, who has a particular view on how Europe can become energy independent and speed up its way of decarbonization and greening. He's an internationally respected leader, both in the field of renewables and IT, has held many positions, and right now is running a company called NE3T, which supports the development and especially, I would say, the speeding up in innovative ways green energy technology. So welcome, Mr. Bachman. Let me first introduce also the other speakers, because then we will have a keynote from Mr. Paul van Son. He's, as you can see, the president of the DII Desert Energy initiative. It's an initiative that already started in 2009, but is now really getting up to full speed. And he is, besides this, also the founder of the European Federation of Energy Traders. And I would say we're very pleased to have you along, Paul, because you have this view of how we can produce energy centrally and export it for the better within the regions and outside the regions. But, and that makes it very interesting, you also have created an organization to focus on how to speed up decentralized green energy in Africa. So we really have a holistic view on what is going on in the market. If you are interested after this keynote in knowing more, it's nice to know that Paul also co-authored a book about emission-free energy from the desert, together with our next speaker, and that is Thomas Eisenberg. And besides being a science journalist who has co-authored this book, he is actually a person that can give us insights and views on what's going on in the field, both from in-depth technical interviews and from, I would say, in pictures. Also here, he is currently co-writing a book to bring these exciting developments to the market, also for a much broader public. And we're happy to learn when that will be available, because we're eager to read it. And last but not least, we have with us today an inventor, Paul Gascon, an inventor from Spain, who developed a disruptive technology. Being a mechanical engineer working in the construction sector, he identified how we could actually speed up wind technologies in a cheaper way, and to reach a lower cost of energy. So he will present this potentially disruptive modular technology at the end of this presentation. This will take roughly, I would say, half an hour, 45 minutes. And after that, there will be a round of discussions where we have some questions to see what is the impact of these projects, or how can these projects and what we discussed today help to build on the resilience of Europe. But we are also open to take some of your questions into account. So please do not hesitate to use the public chat, share your questions. Together with Marcus, we will take a look if we can guide the direction into answering these questions directly, and if not, we can follow up later on after the webinar. But enough talking from my side. Please, Bachman, we're very eager to learn how you will help us to become zero emission in Europe. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Markus. Thank you, Alexander.